Hi guys, I'm Ryan Brazil, and I thought today we could talk about the talkative, chatty classroom, because I think that's most classes are like that, but some are more talkative and more chatty than others. And sometimes it's really hard, and sometimes I want to pull my hair out, and sometimes I rethink my life decisions that brought me to this moment in time. Okay, so, and I genuinely love teaching. I love my job. So I can only imagine how difficult it is for those of us who are like, I don't know about this. And it's really hard, and it's overwhelming, it's overstimulating, and there's a lot going on. Whether you have a class of 15 or 40, it's a lot. Whether they're 3, 4 years old, 18 years old, it's a lot. So I have things that have worked for me, and I thought I would run through a few of them that might help you in your classroom. The unfortunate thing about all of this is sometimes what works for one class isn't going to work for another class, right? If you are a parent or you have been around children, you know that sometimes what works for one doesn't work for the other. So it can be kind of frustrating. And what works one week might not work next week. What works today might not work tomorrow. So it's really, we talk a lot about teachers having a tool belt, and it's really about just utilizing all the tools. That's a good segue into attention getters. So teachers, we all have attention getters, and I know it's hard not to just use the same ones over and over again. Our kids are talking a lot because, hey, they like each other, they like being in your class, they like being together. That's a good thing. They could also be talking a lot because they're bored. They're bored. So if we keep them moving, keep them on their toes, keep them going, it's gonna eliminate some of that talking. So attention getters, there are a lot out there, and you can make up your own on the spot. That's what I like to do. Because if you say 1, 2, 3, eyes on me, and you're waiting for them to say 1, 2, eyes on you, which is great. But if you have to do that 50 times a day, and I feel like that's a low number, if you have to say that 50 times, they're not gonna hear it on the 15th time. They're not gonna hear it. They're gonna drown you out. So if you need to change it up. So there are a lot of good ones out there. A quick Google search, you'll find some. I know I do waterfall, shh, right, a lot. But again, I can't do that a lot. So my challenge to you, if you break up your day, I mean, it depends on your schedule, how many recesses you have, all that stuff. But if you break up your day into thirds, for me, I can do that. I can go morning till recess, recess till lunch, lunch till after school. Try to not to reuse one twice in that time. So we have things like, I like to do macaroni and cheese, and they go, everybody freeze. You could do yakety yak, don't talk back. There are a lot. But my favorite thing to do is to come up with some as a class. So for example, there was one year we were doing science. I was doing science with this class. It was a 5th grade class. And the line I was supposed to read said, rabbits eat grass. And I read, grass eats rabbits. And all the kids laughed, and we laughed, and it was really fun. And it kind of became this inside joke. So a good attention getter might have been, when I say, what does grass eat? You say rabbits, right? I might yell, what does grass eat? And then the kids would yell, rabbits. And that would be really funny, and it would get their attention, and no one else would have any idea what you're talking about, but you guys would know, your team, your community would know that. We also watch KIF, the cartoon KIF. Every Monday we start the morning off with a cartoon. And if you're familiar with KIF, you'll know that the theme song, if you're not, you need to go watch KIF. It's on Disney. Go watch it. It's awesome. But the theme song is da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, and then all the kids yell KIF, and they're quiet, and it's awesome. Another good one that I use it maybe once a day, not even 3 times, right? Once a day is when you yell freeze. And your class goes, everybody clap your hands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And it's a fun one to learn. And I promise you, because you don't do it very often, they'll do it right away. And then you just make up a bunch. As you're seeing things When I say pillow, you say fort. Pillow, fort, pillow, fort. You just make up random words, keep them listening. If you say class, 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 they're gonna drown you out. They're not gonna hear it. So attention getters are important, and it's important to just like spice it up, you know, change it up all the time so that they're listening. That's a good one. Another thing that I use, I have these 2 jars sitting on my desk, as you can see, and they start halfway. Both jars are halfway, they're even, and if I say, for example, 1, 2, 3 eyes on me, and a bunch of the kids are still talking, then I move marbles over to the sad jar. I call them my happy jar or my sad jar. So I'll move marbles over to the sad jar. If it's quiet and it's good and it's amazing, I'll move marbles over to the happy jar. So you can decide, the goal is to get all the sad jar marbles over to the happy one. So we want no marbles in the sad one, and we want to fill up the happy one. And you guys decide what you want to earn. You might decide to earn a class party, which is great, but also that's a lot of planning, right? I don't know. It's up to you. You can also do something like extra recess. But if it takes a few months, extra recess might not be that exciting to them. I like to do a movie day. It's exciting. We don't watch a lot of movies in class. It's free because we just have to play the movie, and it doesn't take up an entire day, right? There's no planning involved. Boom, done. I know with some districts you have to get approval, or you might have to ask, or whatever. It's gonna depend on you, but you guys come up with it as a class. You want 30 minutes of free time. That's easy, that's free, that's right. You do it. So you can decide as a class what you want to do, but the jars are very effective. I have on my Teachers Pay Teachers just like a free guide on how to do it. It's very simple. You can look at these and figure it out. But I will say it is scary having glass jars on top of my standing desk because, you know, glass is fragile. But you need them to be glass, and you need the marbles to be glass so you can hear it. Right? I'm not gonna sit here and yell all day long. It's just I don't have time for that. But they'll hear the glass moving to each other. I'm also starting, so I don't have much feedback on this for you at this moment, but I have just gotten a timer, a magnetic timer, put it on my whiteboard, and I love this because the kids can see it. So let's say we're doing math, and a good incentive for them to get their work done and not talk is, hey, we have an hour for math. This math lesson is 45 minutes. So if you work hard and we get this math lesson done in the 45 minutes it's supposed to take, you can have 15 minutes of free time, right? You want to use that time? Great. I want you to have that time because this is the lesson that I need to do anyway. So if you have extra time, great. I want you to have it. A good visual for them, my class this year has not earned that extra free time because it takes us so long to move on from one thing to another. So we're working on it. We're working on it. But I thought a visual might be helpful because you turn it. Let's say, okay, we have an hour. Let's see how quickly we can do this math lesson. Of course, we don't want them to rush through it. So it has to be good quality work. We have high expectations for our students still, but they can literally see the time going away. So I might say, okay, we're halfway through our lesson and it's been 35 minutes. This is not looking good for free time, or they could just see it. So I'll keep you updated on how it actually goes, but I feel like that's a good visual for them to see. So I'm really excited about that one. I do also time them sometimes, which isn't amazing. Sometimes we'll just try to beat our time. Like, okay, let's see how long it takes you to we're about to go to recess, grab your snack and get into line. And I'll time them and we try to beat it because it takes too long. And at least with my class, specifically right now, instead of just going to line, they'll go over there and they want to see what they're doing and what's, oh, shiny and squirrel, right? And they do all the things and it's too much. So if I time them and we're trying to beat our time, and honestly, we're trying to beat our time, but I haven't offered them anything. I'm not like, if you beat your time, we'll do this. They're just trying to beat their score. They're just competitive. They don't win anything or lose anything. They just want to beat their time. So that could be a cool way for you to like, let's do things a little bit quicker, right? For lining up or getting supplies out or whatever it is. That could be a quick way to do that. Counting also helps when I do flexible seating, so the kids don't have anything in their desks. They have to go to their basket. So if I need them to get something, they all have to get up and come back down. So it still shouldn't take but 30 seconds to a minute. So when I go ask them to do something, I might start counting down from 30, 29. Because if I say, go get this, they're just gonna, they don't have any like, if I say to them, okay, go get your math notebook, it might take them forever because they're gonna go stroll and they're gonna go wander. But if I say, go get your math notebook, 30, 29, 28, right? Okay, oh, I gotta go, hurry. We need to be quiet when we get down to 0. Because hopefully if they all have their stuff and they're quiet, when I get to 0, I get to move marbles over, right? The marbles come into play all the time. And if you have kids who start counting for you, because I count at different paces. I'll speed it up if I see people taking too long. I'll go slow if I'm trying to be nice, right? So I don't like when my kids try to count for me. They'll do it in the beginning of the year and then they'll learn not to. But if my kids start counting for me, I say, oh, I know how to count. I don't need your help. I just have to say that a few times. And then they'll get it and they'll stop counting for you. Another way to get them to not be so chatty is to give them opportunities to talk. Them talking is not a bad thing. An 8-year-old, a 9-year-old, a 10-year-old, telling them to sit there and be silent for an hour, that's crazy. Of course they're gonna talk. So we have to give them those opportunities to talk. So if there are ways in your lessons to give them time to partner talk or move around the classroom, either go find someone else on another. I've seen things on Teachers Pay Teachers when they have like, you give each student, you know, this student has peanut butter and this student have jelly and they have to find their partner. Something like that. You might assign partners ahead of time, just so they know, go find your math partner and talk about this, and then go back and sit down. And it might take a minute. Give them those chances to move and talk so that they don't feel the urge or need to talk while you're talking, because that's the biggest thing. Also, blurting out. Give them the chances to blurt out, right? So we have times where it's like, I need a quiet hand. I'll say, oh, I don't hear you. I can't hear you unless your hand is up and I've called on you. But also give them the chance to say whatever the question is. What's 7 times 4? Blurt it out. I always say, shout it out. Give them those, because they want to do it. They want to do it so bad. So we just have to sprinkle that in and allow them to do it where they're not gonna get in trouble. And hopefully they're not getting in trouble for blurting out, but you know, sometimes it does happen because it is really frustrating. Something with that might be helpful to you. This is something that I made that's on Teachers Pay Teachers. You can also totally just make this yourself. But if you don't want to and it's already made for you, you don't have to. I plan on doing a video all about this very soon, but I've made this thing called the tracker. I have different assignments. It's for the whole week, Monday through Friday, and I have different things going along the whole week, and I have 3 strikes on the bottom. So this can help with talking because this is their ticket to Fun Friday. So they have to get checks. They have to be able to check off their work. They just glue it into their morning journal. It's just theirs privately. And if they don't do what they're supposed to do, I have my giant red marker and I put an X. It's not a public shaming thing. It's just, you need to be held accountable for your actions. And if you were talking the whole time instead of doing your work, you don't get credit for math today. And if you get too many X's, you come up with that number. I always start with 7, and then maybe in a couple months it'll be 6, and then maybe a couple months from there it'll be 5. But if you get too many X's, you don't get to come to Fun Friday. So soon, okay, now I don't want to talk. I want to participate in Fun Friday, so I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. You might have students that keep talking and they finish their work, and that's very frustrating because you want to hold them accountable, but hey, they're also doing their work and they're doing it really well. So how do I do that? So that's why I put the 3 strikes on the bottom, because I might do like, okay, you know what? I've told you 3 times now to stop talking and you haven't. I'm gonna put a strike. It's like 3 strikes and you're out. I'm gonna put an X on the bottom of your tracker. So that's, again, something that you'll have to decide as a class. And we'll do a whole video just on the tracker, but this also helps the kids like stay on task and do what they're supposed to be doing, while also we get to have the fun and we get to do all these things. My thing with this is I care about you too much to let you sit there and do nothing. You need to be held accountable for your actions. Fun Friday is another good incentive. So I've tried different things. When my kids talk too much, I don't want to be that teacher that's like, oh, I'll wait. I don't want to do that, because a lot of our kids, they're going to go, okay, yeah, you wait for me. They're just going to keep talking. But we have Fun Friday every Friday. That's 30 minutes. Now, if they decide to waste my lesson time, that's coming out of their Fun Friday. I'll make that very clear. So a few ways you can do that. You can pull out your phone and you can just time. If I pull out my phone, I'm not sitting here texting. My students know that. And sometimes we have to, right? We talk to parents or we talk to other teachers. We also have families and things we need to take care of ourselves, but they know I just have the timer going, and I might keep a time, write it down on the board. Oh, you wasted a minute. That's coming off of your Fun Friday. I don't like doing that. That's like in extreme circumstances, but like sometimes it needs to happen. Another thing, I talked about having the timer. I don't know, it might be interesting if you set it to 30 minutes, right? That's their Fun Friday. And then you start it every time they're talking and they can just see the minute. I think the visual really helps. They can just see their Fun Friday disappearing. And then you decide if they can earn it back or not. I always like to give them the opportunity to earn it back, because we're trying to do positive reinforcement, which is great. Sometimes we still have to be held accountable. We can't just do whatever we want and only ever get rewards and awards for doing the good things. That's not how life works. So we also have we have consequences, right, for our actions. So we have to hold them to that. Other things that are not going to be an everyday, all year thing that you can try. One time I had a class just blurt out and interrupt me so much. I didn't say anything all day. I had a sticky note and they didn't know what I was doing, but every time somebody interrupted me or blurted, or I had to stop what I was doing to redirect, or I had to stop what I was doing to talk to someone, or whatever it is, I have to stop. I just made a mark. I just made a tally and I counted the whole day. And I just had a discussion with them about it. And that class, it was over 300 times that I had to stop. And I think seeing that number in the moment, they don't realize. And even just having that conversation of like, look how many times I had to stop what I was doing to get you to stop talking, right? I'm one person, it's too many times. And I took a picture of my Post-it and I sent it to families. Can you please reiterate to your children, to these students, the importance of listening and being respectful in the classroom? So something like that can help. Also, that's not an everyday thing. That's just if you have to have a serious conversation with your class, that visual representation might help. Also, if you have a class that's just talking constantly, you can try whispering all day. That's like you might do it twice a year to a class, but you'll notice that they're going to match your energy. So if you're constantly yelling and screaming, guess what? Your class is going to be constantly yelling and screaming. So I'm a loud person. I get it from my sister. I don't have an indoor voice really. And there are times where I yell. I'm not calm, cool, and collected all the time. I get overwhelmed, I get frustrated, and I only have so much patience. I get pushed over the edge, and I yell. There are times where I yell. I'm not saying it's a good thing. I'm just saying that we all do it, and if you've been there, it's okay. We just don't want to make that the norm, right? Because then they're gonna give to you what you give. So you can try whispering. It's, again, for me, it's not an everyday thing, but they're gonna start trying to, oh no, what did she say? And they're gonna start trying to get each other to be quiet. the ones who want to do the work are going to do it. And again, if you have like something like the tracker, even the ones who are just trying to be funny or trying to mess around, even those ones are gonna, oh no, I need to hear what she's saying. I'm just gonna do my lesson and I need you to turn to page 53. And I just, all day, just talk. You don't say a word about anything else. You don't say why, you don't say, just all day, just whisper. It's kind of amazing how much they try to get each other to be quiet. It's not gonna happen, you know, first few minutes of the day, but eventually it's going to help. And you might have to do that, you know, here and there throughout the year. You might choose to do it every day. I don't know. I'm not a whisper kind of person. It's not for me. One other thing, and I'm always willing to help or get suggestions. So if you have anything that you've tried, please comment, let me know. Because again, these kids, they change. This class now is different than what my class 8 years ago needed, right? They're just, the world is changing, times are changing, technology changes, everything changes. So these kids need different things. We have to continuously learn and grow and adapt with our students. One thing I'm trying, so my students, it's always a big thing. The ones who are not talking and are always on task are upset that they're getting basically punished, right? Or then they're not getting the incentives because of the kids who are off task. So their suggestion was, and I just printed this out today, I said, I will listen to you. I will try it. I don't know how much I'll be able to do it, but my kids all have numbers. So I just printed out on this page, it's just 1 through 16 and then 17 through 32. And I think we'll have to see how tomorrow goes, because I think I will mark, okay, this kid's on task, this kid's on task, you know, this kid's on task, this kid's on task. I don't know if it'll be easier to mark like good marks, like the kid's on task, or who's talking, who's where they're not supposed to be, who's arm wrestling. Why are you arm wrestling, right? Who's doing the things they're not supposed to be doing. So we'll see kind of how it goes. And then their suggestion was, and it's funny because even the kids who are constantly talking are like, yeah, we should do that. And I'm like, really? Do you want to do that? Because this is going to be bad for you. Their suggestion was they get minutes taken off of their Fun Friday. So I don't know what the exchange rate will be. Like, what will one tally mark equal? Is that 1 minute? Because I feel like by the time we get to Friday, we might not have a whole lot of minutes left. Also, hey, maybe some tough love is what some of these kids need. So I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna go. I also don't know how much I can count on myself to like keep this on me all day and like do that. So we'll see. We're gonna try it. We try different things. Different things work for different kids. So we're going to see how that goes. Those are my main suggestions. I'm sure there will be a part 2 to this. I will keep you posted on how the timer goes. I will keep you posted on how this goes. And I also will make another video about the tracker, because that is a big one. It has helped me so much with behavior and also kids getting their work done, which is really big. Not just getting their work done, because sometimes it takes our kids longer, but getting quality work done, or at least started, right? It was always a big issue. So I hope some of these helped. Please, please, please comment if you have anything else, because I'm always looking for suggestions. Just because I've been doing this for 8 years, in teacher time, I feel like that's really not that much time. So anything that you've tried, please let me know. I am all ears, open to suggestion, always willing to try lots of things. I hope that this helped in some way, or you take at least one thing from this. Yeah. Good luck. Let me know how it goes, and I will keep you posted on some more ideas later. Bye.